and welcome. Always a pleasure to be with you on Radio Tunis International. Faisal Hilali on audio engineering. Reem Trabilsi on live streaming. Hayet Toukabri in the studio for this daily edition. And we have the pleasure to have with us in the studio Marwa Mejri, the admissions lead from the British International School of Tunis, to talk to us today about admissions for the new year. Although it is the end of the school year, but for most of the people, this is the time for new beginnings, especially when we talk about people who relocate, people who move from one country to another. It is important for them to find the right school for their kids. So today, and the right international school, especially for them. So today we are going to talk about the admissions process at the British International School of Tunis. Marwa Mejri, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you again here.
Thank you. So let's start with the different steps of this admissions process.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say hello again to you. Thank you for hosting me again here. So today I'll answer most of your questions as much as I can. So for the admission process at BIST, it starts, for some parents, they would just go on the website. We've got a form, so the online form. They start by filling in the online form. Then I will have that form on my admissions email. Of course, it doesn't have very, it has the date of birth for children, how many children, the previous schools, etc. That gives you a rough idea about the family, where they come from, and do they have an idea about the British education? Do they not have an idea about the British education? And then all of our emails, then they go very personalized. So we try to personalize the replies as much as we can. And they serve as very informative to parents, and it will serve them then later on to make the right decision about their child's academics.
So first of all, you need information about the parents.
Yeah, so they have.
It's important.
Yes,
the
on the online form, we have information about the parents, how many children, academic background nationalities, all of different things, and also date of birth. So we are aware and we can determine the best year group placement for those children. And then, of course, we set up a meeting, whether a virtual tour, virtual meeting. If they need a meeting online, they're still not in Tunisia. If they are in Tunisia, we try to accommodate, and we try to, of course, a visit and a tour, whether primary or secondary. For families who have both, of course, we do both. So we choose one day for primary, for the whole tour. We explain all aspects of primary education. And then we go to secondary, we do the same thing, because it's different, a bit different. Yeah.
And two different locations, especially.
Two different campuses, yes. One in Sukra, one in Lak 3.
And one in Lak 3. Yeah. All right. Okay. So after that, after they have filled in the form, then you can schedule a visit. The visit could be either online or on site.
Yes.
And after that, what takes place after that?
When the family are, of course, after we finish the tour, the visit, whether virtual or face-to-face, as we said, then we move on to, during the tour, by the way, we answer as many questions.
As possible,
everything.
Course. Yeah.
So even for questions that do not cross the parent's mind, because we've been doing this for so long, so we can't predict what kind of questions they will have.
They can come up
when they go home. So I try to
anticipate.
Yes, so we do anticipate. We do try to predict as much as possible. And we have a good idea about the kind of inquiries and worries that parents do have about their children's academic journey. So we answer that, and then, of course, upon confirmation from the parent to proceed with the admission process, then we move on to the necessary documents, providing the necessary documents, and of course, for most families, for example, for families who confirm before the end of this academic year, who have already confirmed before the end of this academic year, we try to provide trial days. So these trial days are for these children to come in, see the future class, see the future teacher, meet them, spend a day or two with them, have lunch with them, interact, play, contribute.
And this will be before the end of this school year.
Yes. So they have an idea. So when they come in next academic year, it's not a shock for them.
Right.
They're not completely new and unfamiliar with the whole setting. So they have an idea about who's my teacher, who are my friends, where is my class. So it's not everything new.
So for those who do not have the opportunity to do that the end of this academic year, they can do that
next so next year,
the beginning of the next year.
It's different.
Okay.
It's the
How
style
different?
Is different because we use trial days for these families as a tool of smooth transition, to make sure that the transition is really smooth.
Right.
For families who decide to join BIS during summer and there's no school during summer, of course they will still have the tour, they will go around, they will see and explore the facilities and services of the school on site, of course, but they won't have the chance to meet the teacher or the fellow classmates. What we do is we try to help and support in the beginning of the year. So when we go back to school in August, of course we support them, we manage and we make sure that they meet all their friends, the teachers, the specialist teachers. We've got, of course, our school counselor, Miss Maria, who will also help them through the transition period to make sure they are well welcomed and they fit in quite well and smoothly.
Right. And are there any assessments, during this admission procedure, any assessment for children who come, in your school for the first time?
Yeah. So it's the assessment process differs from primary to secondary. So in primary, we usually conduct informal assessments.
Which means?
So informal assessments are in primary for primary children. So you don't have them sat at a table with a paper or a computer or anything. No. So you will observe. Observations, whether from our SINCO, which is our special educational needs coordinator, or the school counselor, or the EAL lead, and the class teacher, behavior specialists. So we all get turns into observing these children while playing, while socializing, while interacting in the class, so we can see if there are any things that need to be spotted, because if there's anything, it's easily spotted, And then through those observations, we meet and we develop a plan if that child needs support in any of these areas.
If they have specific needs, for instance.
Exactly. If they have. Most kids with needs, parents will inform us prior to the admission process. So we are aware what kind of needs, and we know exactly how to support, and how to cater for
if
those
they are
needs.
Hyperactive, if they are dyslexic, if they are autist.
Exactly, even if they're autistic. So that's why we have a special educational needs coordinator on site in school, one for primary and one for secondary. So as I said, we meet. All staff members involved, they meet and they develop a plan. That plan serves as a huge support system for them in the next academic year. For secondary pupils, they sit for the CAT 4. So I think I mentioned the CAT 4 before. So the CAT 4 is the official and formal assessment tool in secondary. It's not a pass or fail. This is what I keep telling parents.
It's a multiple choice.
It's not a pass or fail. It's not something to say, oh, I'm excellent or no, I'm not. No, it's just something to give the staff an idea.
There's a score that you consider?
It's not a score, but it's more of sections, and then you've got, whether number grades or letter grades, and then through when we analyze those, we will depict and we will see exactly what are the strengths and areas of development of those pupils. Those results will help us guide the pupils in secondary into making the right option choices in terms of subjects for either IGCSEs and A levels.
What are most of the requests when it comes to admissions into the British International School of Tunis? Is it at primary level or at secondary level? And if it is at secondary level, what are the stages, that are most common for you to accept pupils, especially that they come from another system of education like the Tunisian system or any other system in another country?
So to be very, very honest, we have some classes that are in high demand, and those classes and stages they differ from EYFS, early years
to foundation.
Yes, early years foundation stage. We have also, and then exam year groups, which are year 10, year 11, year 12, and year 13. Those are in really high demand. Some of those classes almost with no placements availability left. Yeah.
So you are full?
In some of them.
In some of them.
We've got a waiting list. So we always have a waiting list, especially for those year groups, because we need to be very careful, and we need to be sure that we have, the right spaces for those children, because we try and we do our best, so we make no error in those 4 year groups.
Right.
Of course, we do our best in all school, but those year groups are really critical, so we do not risk our pupils' future for any reason whatsoever.
Okay.
So as I said, because the next question might be why maybe those 4 year groups, because we have a lot, so many families that are shifting systems. The idea of having the ability to choose the subjects that you are strong at and that you are more confident at, it's really appealing to parents and pupils alike. So when they are 16, 17 and 18, 15, 14, they like to choose. They want to be held accountable and also feel responsible to choose, okay, this is the career that I want to pursue. And to pursue that career, I only need these, these options, these subjects.
Yeah.
So I want to have the strength and ability to choose only those so I can excel at. I don't need to do 10 more options, and I don't need them. I won't need them in my university pathway. So
and this increases the children's responsibility, or the pupils or the learners' responsibility, when they choose the path, that they really would like to follow for their future careers.
Yes,
so it could be with the help of the parents, with the help of the staff, of course.
As I said, of course, we guide them. We are there to help. We are there to answer all of the questions. We have university evenings where they meet different universities, and you see the requirements and the criteria that each university is asking for.
Right.
So then they can make a very informative decision. They're not just making a decision for the sake of making a decision.
Right.
They are making a correct decision.
And responsible.
Yes, very responsible.
Very responsible. Yes. Now, most of these newcomers at these years, the 11, 13, 12, etc., most of them come from what nationalities in general?
We don't have a mass nationality at the moment. Like, this nationality is bigger than the other.
Right.
So we have Tunisians, we have French, we have Italians, we have German. So we've got from different nationalities.
So it's really international.
Yeah, it is international.
Okay. Now, if you can remind us of the different stages before we come to the required documents for the admission, the different stages at the British International School, which stages are concerned with the primaries, and then for the secondary?
So primary has early years.
Okay.
Nursery reception, and then key stage.
Starting from which age?
3 years old.
3 years old.
Yes.
All right.
And then we have key stage 1, year 1 and year 2. Then key stage 2, it's year 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Then moving on to secondary. In secondary, we've got key stage 3, year 7, year 8, year 9.
Okay.
Then key stage 4, year 10, year 11, IGCSE years. And then AS and A levels, year 12, year 13, key stage 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Key Stage 5 is from the age of?
It's 17, 18.
17, 18.
Yes.
All right. So these are the different stages. Now we come to the admissions for stages for ages 7+.
Okay.
Right? If you can, what do we expect?
Well, what do we expect? We do not expect much as in terms of language.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you are international school, you will have EIL learners. You will have children who are coming to you, choosing this, the English, the British education without having English.
Right.
Okay, so it is up to us and up to our highly qualified staff members to cater for those EIL needs. So if they speak no English, then we've got a team in place and we've got plans in place to help, and the needed resources to help those children overcome the language barrier. So that's how we try to in terms of expectations.
Right.
The only high expectation that we and every educator would like to see in their learners is the will. If they have the will to learn, if they have the will to change and to fit in and to adapt to the system, if they have a positive attitude towards learning and towards fitting into this new environment, that everything else is easy.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So the main obstacle is no, there is no way. I don't like, I'm not comfortable. Okay. But we rarely see those because, as I said, we've got a very qualified team in place. And we do our best to make sure that all of our pupils are comfortable, listened to, heard, and helped and supported throughout the way.
Do you have any requests, like for people who maybe come from other countries and who relocate to Tunisia, and they come at the stage of IGCSE, for instance? Do you have this?
Yes, of course. We have this. We had now 3 or 4 families.
Okay.
From end of April to now, like June now, who have enrolled into A levels.
Okay. A levels already.
Yes.
All right, and they have come from
Tunisian system, French system, and Italian.
An Italian system.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, do you have any statistics? I mean, a little bit about the primary or the secondary
in terms of numbers.
In terms of numbers.
So we have one class in particular that is that is charming everyone now. It's in high demand, and as I said, we've got quite a long waiting list.
Okay.
In this year group, it's year 10.
Year 10.
Year 10 is in high demand. Year 5 as well. EYFS is also almost closing in because we've got a decent number, very good number. So we try not to say, okay, that's it, it's done, it's all closed. But we try to encourage parents to make decisions earlier than for some of your groups earlier than others, because if we have, for example, 5 or 6 spots left in one year group and then we have only 1 left in another year group, so we try to follow up with those parents, with that bulk of parents, to make sure they make the right decision sooner.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Is there like a deadline for the admissions?
Well, there isn't really like a very obvious deadline, but we do encourage that they make the decisions
so
before
it's open
the
now.
end of the academic year,
which is
end of June.
End of June.
Yes.
Okay.
This doesn't mean that it's closed. The admissions are closed during summer.
No.
Okay. But as I said, because it does affect those year groups, the year groups in high demand with the limited spaces.
Right.
So that's why we do encourage families and parents to make the decisions, very... Of course, we don't want to put pressure on them. It doesn't mean now, make a decision now or never. No. But also because when we feel like you've answered all questions, you provide all the information needed, so it's, it's only fair enough that you ask for a final decision, so you make sure that you're not being unfair to a family or another.
Right. Now we come to the required documents once they are admitted. Are there different documents that you ask at different stages?
Not really. The only necessity that we ask if someone, for example, comes in year 11.
Okay.
For example, so they have already done year 10 in another country. So we ask for the options.
Right.
The subjects and options they have already chosen. So we can see, is it the same?
To ensure the continuity.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. But the common documents are basically, the pictures, their academic previous years academic reports, birth certificates, passport, copies of passport. It's the usual vaccination records, the usual enrollment and admission documents.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, sorry to interrupt, but we also have our own BIST documents.
Okay.
These documents consist of notifying for any allergies, any medical conditions, consent forms for pictures, of course, consent forms for different activities that we do.
Any dietary restrictions.
Swimming, of course, everything. So we have also something that we provide parents for their own signature and consent.
Okay. Now, are there any factors that can influence the admission decision in general?
So most factors would be accreditations.
Okay.
Is the school accredited? If I am choosing school,
the one they have come from?
No. The one BIST.
BIST.
So that's the factor that affects them from their point of their perspective as families. If they are enrolling at BIST, they will be choosing, for example, or a bit confused, three different schools. So one of the criteria is they be looking for are accreditation.
Your accreditation, of course. Yes. That's very important.
For us, the only thing is special educational needs. As I said, we do cater for most SEN needs. Most of them we do cater for, but for some needs we need to know exactly to what extent. Okay,
right.
So we are really sure and really aware that BIST will provide the needed and the adequate support for your child. So it's not just about enrolling a child and then having no support at all. So we try to do our best to have all the information around those needs to know exactly, is this something it may, a school like BIST can cater for. And as I said, we do cater for most needs, but there are some needs that exceed and they need and demand extra support and extra help. So that's the only thing that really matters.
But as part of your strategic planning for next year, for instance, what are the spots available, for instance, at each level, at each stage. Do you publicize that on your website, for instance, especially that you have a new website?
We do. So the new website is coming up.
It's coming up.
Soon.
Okay.
Not yet, but soon. Actually, we will say, and we will try to be very honest in saying that there are few seats available.
But you don't give the right number.
But we don't give the right number, and we also don't mention all the groups that are really limited. Otherwise, it would be a bit confusing to parents. And as I said, there are other factors which are the waiting list. So we never know for sure how many spots, because today you have 3 spots, tomorrow you'll have 2-3 families confirming, and then that's done.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but we try to be, honest and very credible, as in our communication with parents.
Right. Yeah. So this is the end of the academic year of the school year as well, and the admissions will be the same for primary and secondary. Is there anything new in your admissions procedures or process?
So in our admissions process, especially for international families that are not yet in Tunisia, to speed up the process a bit, we try to accommodate online tours and online meetings with them. And then we agree upon their arrival on a date and time for them to have the on-site tour. Also the CAT 4, we do provide it online. So as I said, to speed up the process a bit, and we make sure that everyone is having equal opportunities into their admission process. Not because you're not here, so you don't get an equal opportunity or an equal chance into enrolling your child at BIST. But as I said, we also do understand that for some families coming from different culture, different countries, different backgrounds, it can be a bit shocking. So we try to put up buddy families. So another family from the same nationality, another family from the same background will speak to you, reach out to you, answer your questions, because it's not the same getting that experience from another family.
And you put them in contact?
Yes.
Right.
So of course we ask for both consents, and then we put them in contact.
Either face-to-face or online?
Yes, face-to-face, going out, or online, or through WhatsApp, emailing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It really helps parents, because as I said, for me, as a fellow parent, for example, I'd like to have another family's point of view.
Sure.
Of course, I would like to have it from the professionals, but I also would like to have it from another family. It's more appealing. It's more authentic.
Certainly.
You know? So it's really good for parents. We also put buddy friends together. So especially if they both speak French, for example, or they both speak Arabic and not speak English, then you have one child, being in both already. So it's really good for them. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Marwa. It was a pleasure talking to you, and enjoy your holidays if you happen to have one.
Soon,
since you will be on site during
summer.
Good for you.
Thank you. Anything for our families at best. Anything.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before you go.